Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Convert on Shopify. My name is Pancho Mendiola, and today I had a lovely conversation with Andra Baragan. So she's the founder of a digital agency. It's called ONTRACK Digital. It's a conversion rate optimization agency. And what it was really cool is that they actually specialize in Shopify, like myself. So you'll tell that the conversation was pretty fluent. We understand each other in that sense. And yeah, like 90% of their clients are Shopify users. And we talked a lot about, well, first of all, what triggers a merchant to actually reach out and say, okay, I think now it's time to start thinking about CRO. Okay, where should I start? So we talked a little bit about these triggers, what triggers normally, and what's the main causes of those triggers, right? And we also talked about all the myths surrounding CRO. So as merchants, we tend, okay, first say, I think I need to do CRO, but there's a bunch of buts that come into place. A lot of them from lack of knowledge, and also because we tend to hear things about CRO. So we addressed a lot of these myths around CRO, and I just enjoyed this conversation very much. So I don't want to spoil you anymore. Let's jump into the episode. Hey, Andra, thanks again. Thanks a lot. I know that you are super busy. So thanks a lot for giving us a little bit of your time to expand our knowledge about the CRO world. I know that you run an agency, a CRO agency, and I have several questions for you. So first of all, why do people look for CRO? Like, what is that trigger that gets them to, okay, now I have to consider CRO?
First of all, it's a pleasure to be a part of the podcast, and Convert are like my family, so it's always a pleasure to be here. So I think clients come to the agency. The number one reason why they reach out to us is, the number one thing they say is, hey, our conversion rate was really good. Now it's really bad. We need your help. So I think this is what triggers them to reach out and search for CRO most of the time. Most of them know they need to do it, but maybe they've done it in-house a bit, maybe not, but they're looking for a professional usually.
Okay, and usually there's a lot of cases and a lot of factors and variables, but usually what are the main problems that drop the conversion rate?
There are many problems, definitely, that can contribute to a drop in the conversion rate. Most of our clients, they're e-commerce businesses. They're Shopify based. I would say maybe 90% of them. The reason they say, like, the number one reason is because of the paid advertising. So usually when Facebook algorithms change, or I don't know, there's a change in organic traffic as well in the algorithms there for ranking, they see a decrease in conversion rate, and then that's when they panic because their cost of acquisition increases a lot, their performance drops, and all they think about is ROAS usually. So if they can't make the return on the ad spend, that's when they really panic and reach out to CRO, let's say, to CRO specialists. But from my experience, there are so many things that can lead to a decrease in conversion rates. And I would say a big issue is with, especially among e-commerce business owners, and especially where there's like a one-man show, or let's say it's a small team, the change chain, let's say, is very short. So anyone with an idea can go in and make changes on the website and add features and add apps that they've seen the competitors using, but they're not actually measuring those changes in any way. They're not keeping track of those changes. And then 3 months later, their conversion rate is in half, and they can't pinpoint where it actually went downhill. So that's also another another time when they reach out to us and say, we think we've destroyed our website, make it better. It's
I
like
felt
a doctor.
that. Totally, I felt that. I mean, I've been a merchant for I think 10 years now, and yeah, my early years, I was pretty much a solopreneur, and I will just like change
Mhm.
everything, and I didn't care about how to like write it down and measure and anything. And is this
Exactly.
a common profile with like specifically with Shopify merchants? You would say that?
I I'd say it is, yes. At least in the beginning, like in the first couple of years, there's usually the business owner, let's say the person with the idea, or maybe there are two co-founders, let's say. Then they hire a marketing person, another person to deal with customer support, and that's when they start growing. But in the first, so businesses, especially e-commerce businesses, you've seen they can scale really fast, and
Yes.
1 year later they can have I don't know, over 1,000 2,000 sales in per month. They're already running massive budgets on Facebook and Instagram and everything. So it's usually that there's like 4 or 5 people involved and they manage all of these businesses, which to me is amazing every time. Whenever we onboard a new client, it's just incredible how much they can achieve in a short time. And I think that's one of the reasons I love working with this type of businesses so much. They're all super driven and involved. But on the downside, I mean, they know a lot of e-commerce and their product and creating that product in an amazing way. But they get, I mean, they don't really look outside the Shopify dashboard, let's say.
Of
That's
course.
where they get all their information, all their numbers, and if something goes wrong there, that's the only thing they see. But they can't actually see, so where we look in analytics and user research and all of the stuff we do in the back end for CRO. That's where I think it's a good choice to reach out to a specialist and have them help you. I think everyone should focus on what they know how to do best. So.
Totally. Yeah, I totally
Mhm.
agree with that. And also just by having, you know, like a fresh set of eyes looking at stuff, like you get the upside is that you get super involved, but also that could be a downside, right? You are just like looking at what you want to look, and there's a lot of information outside of the Shopify realm that can actually help us improve, right, our conversion and then our revenue.
Yeah,
um
I think that's where the secret is, actually, to step a bit outside of what get a bigger picture of the ecosystem you've created there, because you're focused on one thing, but then there are so many other variables that can can take you to success and can help you scale to where you could, or they just keep you down. So yeah.
Yeah, agree. So I am pretty sure that it's not an easy, let's say, an easy thing to say, okay, I have to look at CRO, I need to look at agencies. There's a bunch, first of all, like lack of knowledge, obviously, a lot of concepts that we as merchants, we don't tend to understand, or they are
Hmm.
outside of our like regular scope of understanding. But also there's a lot of myths, right? Like
Yes.
around CRO. So could you tell us about a little bit about these myths?
Of course, I and there are many myths for sure, and expectations whenever we start a new CRO project. I think I've heard everything in the last 7 8 years that I've been doing CRO. I think I've heard them all, but there are a few that are the most common, I would say. One is also that's actually, I think it's been made popular, but also by CRO specialists, that testing velocity is everything. The more you test, the better, and you need to run tests on every single user, every single page. Which, of course, it's great if you can do that, and if you have the infrastructure to do it, and the process is in place. But actually, I would advise anyone that's getting started in CRO now to focus on quality more than quantity. You want to maybe prioritize tests with a bigger win potential, with tests that would deliver like a better result, a better uplift, rather than spreading out too thin on 10 A/B tests, let's say, or 10 personalizations, or another, which leads us to the second myth, which is that CRO is only A/B testing. And A/B testing is a key part of it, but it's an ongoing process. CRO. It's a lot about research. It's about understanding data and what you do with that data. How you transform it into insights and how you actually transform those insights into winning hypotheses. So that's also another myth. Um, Another very common, let's say, not necessarily issue, but one thing I've seen, especially among solopreneurs, is that they tend to copy competitors. So they have one or two brands that they look up to, which is great. You need sources of inspiration, but you shouldn't blindlessly copy everything they're doing. We've had a very funny example with a client. He's been our client for 3 years now. We absolutely love working together. But at one point, he kept sending examples of another brand. They were doing similar stuff. But he said, "Oh, these guys are doing bundles. We should do bundles. These guys are doing upsells on the cart. We should do upsells on the cart." And everything that they were doing, he wanted us to do. But then
Yeah.
at one point, I just looked at the brand and said, "This is aimed at 60 plus, and your product is aimed at teenagers and young adults." So a lot of the stuff that those guys were doing anyway, they were appealing to a different audience altogether. So even though it's skincare or jewelry or fashion or whatever, it doesn't mean the users you're addressing are the same and that they will react to the same things. So get inspired, but filter them through your specific criteria, let's say through your customer persona, through your ideal profile there, let's say, and see if they still apply. I think that's
Of course, yeah, and that happens a lot, and that also it made me go back to my memories
Mhm.
and then remember that as well, because yeah,
We've all
that's
done it.
yes, exactly. So we go to a site and then we found out this like cool widget, that pops up, and we're
Mhm.
like, okay, I want that.
Yeah,
Like, how can I
I
get
want that.
that?
I mean,
Yeah.
think of that wheelio thing
Mm.
that everyone
Exact.
was
Oh
doing.
yeah, I remember
You
that
would see
one.
that damn wheel spinning everywhere. So it was we just. I mean, I get it, and it still works. The funny thing is, we still have clients that want it. I mean, there are ways you can do it a bit better, like the mystery discount. It doesn't have to be a spinning wheel, but
Yes.
users still love it. It's still exciting to see if you're winning. It's still so. Some things, although as marketers we don't really like them anymore, are still resonating with users. So it's also a balance there, and I think that leads us to the next myth. Let's say that it's all super science and you can't use instinct and you shouldn't. And I think it is a balance between getting all the right stuff in place, and you need statistical significance, you need the validity of the test and everything, but also just see if it makes sense. Just put it through your filters and see if users react to it. And even if it might be something that's a bit counterintuitive, I think there is there is still a lot of human touch involved in CRO, which is another thing I love. So it's not all math and stats. It's a lot of psychology, and it's a lot of just understanding users, and what
Of course,
motivates them.
behaviors and triggers and
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Okay.
exactly. And the
Yeah,
last
and
thing that
you would,
Hmm?
sorry, no, that
Yeah, no, no.
you would think that we have a little bit of a lag, so I kind of get in the middle of the conversation. Sorry
No
about
problem.
that.
No problem.
Yeah, so yes, like the first thing that comes to mind with when we talk about CRO is exactly that, just like black and white,
Hmm.
like metrics and stats and stuff like this. But yeah, I mean, then you have to do something with that information, and that something usually translates into images, colors, copywriting, and
Emotions.
yeah, exactly, emotions. That's all human, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's one myth that needs to go. Like, it's not all math and stat, and you can get started with it. And maybe the one that's most painful for us as agencies or CRO professionals is that it's a one-time magic trick that you can just apply, and then I can double or triple conversion rates, and I can do that, of course. It's very easy. We can shift all traffic to email, not do any paid ads. You'll probably see a double or triple conversion rate. Or you can just drop all your prices to 90% of what they are now. Again, maybe the conversion rate will increase, but it doesn't mean you're making more money or that the business is more profitable or that the user experience is better. So CRO is not a one-time thing. It is an ongoing process, and you need to give it at least 3 months. At least 3 months. Anyway, why I give out this 3 months is because it's a rinse and repeat process. Let's say you do the research in the first month, then you have 2-3 months of A/B testing, like continuous testing and personalization and everything you can do with all the insights you generated in the research. And then you have a completely new buyer theory. It's completely updated after 3 months of seeing what works, what doesn't, and applying all those insights. So you're going back and doing another research and doing another batch of tests and personalization. So the more you do it, the better you get at it, and the better you understand your user, which in the long run can only be beneficial. So don't expect to get someone that does CRO and they do something for 2 weeks and then it doesn't work like that. So,
Of course, and also,
unfortunately.
I mean, everything changes. Everything is like especially in the marketing world. It's everything is constantly changing, and it changes super fast. So the one thing that works now may not work in the future, and you can see I'm pretty sure that you can see like some like patterns and trends in even in like website design,
Yes.
like the types of menus and like we had this phase where it was all parallax, everything was hovering on top of
Everything
the
was
other.
spinning. Huh?
Exactly, and then that stopped, and it's we got back to like a clean like
Yeah.
Apple style trend, and so everything changes. And also I like to give this example with Facebook ads. Remember when all the Facebook ads were done in the side, in side banners, and we knew they were there? Well, I
You
always
couldn't
tell
see them.
people, yeah, exactly, like they still are, they still are
Yeah,
there, but we don't see them anymore. We develop a blindness to that
exactly.
specific type of marketing, so that kind of wears out. So we need to switch it up, and yeah, that's why it's not a one time deal.
Hmm.
It's evolving, right?
It's exactly that, and that banner blindness comes up in everything
In
really.
everything.
But also with the websites, you want to keep improving it and improving the user experience, but you don't want to completely redesign everything every 3 months, which is another thing I've
Yeah.
seen with some of the clients that we tested out, especially with Shopify. It's so easy to change themes and
Yeah.
redo everything. And we put this theme on like 2 months ago, everything crashed. Now we're going back to I don't know what. Or I'm thinking they all want full redesigns, but I would say 90% of the cases, a full redesign is not needed. It's not justified. I mean, there's, of course, update the feel of it, update the, like you were saying, the interactions, the stuff, just bring it up to date, make it look like 2022 now, and make it look like not 2010 for sure. So if that's the case, just update it and redesign everything. But there is so much work you can do on an ongoing basis by the time you get to that refreshed, entirely new version of the website, because redesigns can be so costly and so unpredictable. I mean, there's no telling if that super spanky new design that you have will actually not resonate with your users. Maybe if you're relying a lot on repeat customers, changing think about when Gmail or Facebook would change interfaces. Everyone would be in
Yeah.
flames for 2 days. Like, I don't know where my button is. I don't know where, I don't know what else is. So, again, there's a balance between keeping it fresh and relevant, but also not redoing everything and rebuilding everything from scratch.
Yeah, I always give an example also in that note. Like, yeah, you can change stuff, but there's stuff that you shouldn't. For example, there's clients that still question if they should use Shopify because they can't change everything. I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't. Like, for example,
You shouldn't change it.
exactly, like how many years took for like the whole humanity literally to agree that if you click on a logo, that'll get you to the homepage. And now
Exactly.
we do it instinctively, right? So you change that and you break it. So don't change everything.
Or they put the hamburger menu on the right hand side. It's like, what if we did this on the right hand side? Did anyone say that they're bothered by the position of the hamburger menu? Right? I don't know. So some things I couldn't agree more. So some things just leave them
Mm.
there out of practicality and just for it to be an intuitive process for users. You don't want them to learn how to use your website. You want them to know how to use your website, but while giving them a unique, cool experience. I think that's what brands should aim for, especially. And with Shopify, I think there's also a reason they're not giving access to checkout template
Yes,
files.
yes, yes.
I mean, of course, it's also a pricing thing, but also, you know what, that formula really works. And like you were saying, I think so many of the websites we're buying from are Shopify that we're so used to that three-step checkout. Every information is where you know it is. It just works as you expect it to,
Exactly.
which is anything you can ask out of a website, that it works, it does what you need it to do, and that it does it fast. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I think another myth around that area is that we tend to believe that CRO is all about revenue. It's all about sales, but it
yeah,
has another components, right? Or other benefits.
of course. And I mean, that's the reason why any business is in activity, actually, is that it generates a revenue, that it generates profit. However, CRO is not only about getting more sales, it's about, first of all, delivering a better user experience overall. And that doesn't necessarily reflect immediately in sales, let's say, but maybe you have other different key metrics you want to focus on. Because the first thing we do when we onboard a new CRO client is we get their objectives. Like, what's your plan in the next 6 months, 12 months? What are your goals? And what are your key performance indicators? And then we expand our CRO program based on what they need to get, based on where they're trying to be in after the CRO project, let's say. That for many of them, it might not be getting more sales right now or getting more revenue. It's actually about increasing the client base, or it might be about, I don't know, generating a lot more engagement on their blog. It depends. Anyone, I mean, each business has a different objective, and CRO is about helping them get to that objective more efficiently and smarter, let's say, so they don't have to go around in circles and try random stuff. So it's a systematic, organized process that should help online businesses get them to where they want to be. I think that would be the definition of CRO. So it's not about increasing your sales conversion rate and that's it. It's one thing, but also many other aspects of it.
Awesome. Yeah, and let's close with the best one. The best one. I think I know which one it is. Okay, CRO
Mm,
is magic. It works by itself. The clients don't have
yeah.
to do anything.
That it pains me only when you say it. It's just yeah. I wish I would be a magician and I could just
Hmm.
wave a wand and get that. I mean, I want every online business to sell as much as
Of
they want to
course, of
sell and for
course.
everyone to be successful. But it's not in any way a magical formula or potion that anyone has. And whoever thinks CRO does that, it doesn't. I mean, please set your
Hmm.
expectations right, because it doesn't. And I hate people to be disappointed, so that's why
Yes.
we guide whoever we're talking to into how long the process is and how complicated it is, and also that their involvement is key to this. We can't do, I mean, no agency can do anything on their own. If if the business is not involved there, and if we don't generate ideas of each other and we have conversations and I explain what we're doing and you explain what the business is doing and what the business plans are, we're just two horses in different directions. I mean, everyone is pushing as hard as they can, but if we're not pushing in the same direction, we won't get anywhere. And I've actually seen this firsthand with so many clients, unfortunately, that they hire us, we start our CRO project, but then they're starting changing stuff on the website. They're running campaigns without letting us know. So we were running a test on a homepage for one of our ecom clients, and all of a sudden I see they changed the entire hero section because they had a sale campaign that they didn't inform us about, and it was running for like 3 days out of the 14 days. So it's all messed up right then, so I think it needs to be a very symbiotic process. As much as, so the CRO shouldn't come as the CRO team or the CRO project, let's say, it shouldn't come as an added effort and strain and resource need for the business. So they should integrate very nicely and not add additional weight to the business. But at the same time, the business needs to consider it and include it in all of the plans and marketing and everything that they do, So just try to communicate. I think communication is key here, and transparency is key. And that's why we've worked so hard on just building processes and operating procedures and communication files. So everything is updated constantly so that everyone knows what we're doing now and what we'll do in 2 weeks from now and what we'll do in 4 weeks from now, so that everyone can plan accordingly, And if everyone does the same, I think that's when you get magic,
Exactly.
If all the agencies are working together and if the business is working together, I mean, and when I say agencies, it can be departments in that company, or it can be that one person that's managing the business with that one person they got for CRO. But the idea is just to communicate more than they do. So it's not you sign the agreement and then you wait for the uplifts and results, because it's a short term thing. If that's the approach, I don't think that can lead you to a long term successful collaboration in any way.
Agree. I totally agree. And yeah, I mean, if we think about something a little more, even a little more straightforward as pay-per-click campaigns,
Yeah.
it they don't work by themselves. I mean, there's a huge amount of other components for it to work. For example, we have cross-referenced even like average response time from our support teams, right? So and here in Latin America, we still like a lot of people still reach out to customer support, not for support, just to make sure that there's someone at the other side of the screen, right? Just like,
Yeah.
hey, are you there? If I have a problem with my product,
Exactly.
will you able to be able to assist me? So we have measured that decreasing the average response time increases conversion rate, obviously overall, but also from the ROI in our pay-per-click campaigns. So there's a lot of stuff, and also
Yeah.
organic content, like the blogs and YouTube and stuff like that, helps improve the pay-per-click campaigns. So it's a multi-dimension deal, and we as merchants, we need to understand that, right? And that one agency is not going to solve everything. We need to work together to be better, or increase our revenue.
I love that example. I agree. And I think, especially now, I mean, you can work with people worldwide, and the clients are from every corner of the world. And I think it's so important to not forget about the cultural particularities of every area, So, like you mentioned this, or we were working with clients from India. They're saying, WhatsApp is everything here. So we communicate with businesses and work stuff, and everything is done through WhatsApp. They don't call or email or whatnot. Or clients from, I don't know, Europe, they're all about the formal emails and having a phone number they can call, maybe. So again, I think and that's where the communication comes into play, because we work with clients from Australia, from the States, from Denmark, from Germany, from everywhere. And each client, they have their own characteristics, and it's amazing to just discover them. And I think it's a great way to first of all to discover the world, but then also getting in touch with their agencies and all of us working together. I think that it creates a really powerful connection then, and you can really do the best, to help that client reach their objectives if you truly understand the whole environment that they're in. So that example is really, really cool, and I didn't know that. So
Yeah, and we also use WhatsApp for everything. Well, I don't.
see,
I literally like that's one of my the first things that I tell to my clients is we do not use WhatsApp.
yeah. Same here. So WhatsApp is it's very
Personal.
informal here.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and
yeah, it's
personal.
super personal. You have everything there. You have memes and you have like family
Yeah,
groups and everything. But
exactly. I
yeah.
don't want to hear about conversion rates there, or publishing themes or whatnot, because yeah, agreed. So we use, I mean, our communication is Slack and email with clients, and
Yeah.
calls, of course. So we have the regular calls, but it is about communicating also, this setting boundaries. Don't call if we don't have a schedule. And I think it also applies with interacting with the users as a business. So on the website, you need to know how to address them. Maybe popping up a million pop-ups and asking for their email, phone number, and name is too much. So I
Yeah,
wouldn't give out my phone number in
exactly.
98% of situations. So I can give
Yes.
out the email. I'm fine with that. But then other people might be a lot more comfortable with giving out the email because they prefer the phone number, because they prefer talking on the phone. So I
Of
think if you
course.
understand where the limits are and also what the preferred communication channel is, you can do a lot. So yeah.
Mhm. All right. Awesome. Yeah, agree. Andra, thank you very much. I
It was
think
a
this was
pleasure.
an awesome conversation. There's a lot of value for me to begin with, and hopefully for everyone listening. So
Yes,
really,
well,
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time.
it was my pleasure, and thank you for having me on.
Awesome. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye. Well, there you have it. I hope you got as much value as I did in this episode. Like I said, I really, really enjoyed this conversation. We hope that we can have Andra again in the near future, and where maybe we can go a little deeper into these topics. I want to geek out a little bit more around these topics. So I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thank you very much for listening. Remember, subscribe, help us share if you think that this information could be valuable to your peers or colleagues or friends or whatever. And also remember that in Convert.com, you can find a lot more information surrounding the CRO world. There's a lot of articles, webinars, any type of format you can imagine, you can find it there. We have a blog, we have a full education like suite, and you can find a lot more information there. So thank you very much. Convert.com. Find more stuff about CRO, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.